Matt just checked out.
How did he?
I'm out.
Awesome.
How did he hit record and leave?
Awesome. I don't. It's my fault. I'm sure.
No,
we're good.
You left.
I'm here now.
Doug, I have a question for you. How long has that stash been going? Because it's pretty impressive.
I don't know, man. It's not bad. It's not bad.
I like it.
Yes.
Little
very
Western
impressive.
sweep. Thank you. I had a nice lady come in the fire station the other day and tell me it was exquisite.
Oh my!
I would agree with her. Can we just acknowledge real quick? I know not everyone has theirs, but these pretty sweet can koozies brought to you by Chief Hayes, Ronnie Hayes' wife. I cannot remember the name of her company, but
Company?
it is. Yeah, she's got a company, like legit company. And she made us these sweet for Christmas. She made us these sweet. Her husband, Ronnie Hayes, is a listener of our podcast. And what the heck is that, Adam? A shark. That is not one. But anyways, I mailed them out. Doug already got his, and everyone else is getting theirs. So you're going to start seeing these on the show. So, Ronnie, when you listen, drop a link to her storefront.
In the comments.
But she put her in the comments, yeah. Just drop a comment in there, and they're pretty sweet. But they
You can
take
even
all
get
kinds.
one with your name on it.
You can get one with your name on it, yeah.
But hey, look, really, they take slim cans, tall cans. Coors Banquet cans are a little taller and slimmer than a regular 12-ounce can. They're for the regular 12-ounce can, and it comes with a top with a slide lid, so you can drink coffee or whatever.
Well,
You can drink whatever you want.
It's multi-function.
It's multifunction, and it's not etched. It's like a.
Yeah, it's like sublimated almost.
Well, you know what's weird,
Sublimated.
Brian? Is it?
I tell you what, I'm not gonna do. Put it in the dishwasher.
You know what? Looks.
Right.
You know what, Brian? It looks as if Doug is distracted right now.
He is.
That was a
He
softball
is.
I was throwing you.
I know, and I
me?
missed it. No, to me,
You swung
Oh,
through
fuck.
it.
and I did. I swung right through it. I was way slow on that one. Matt, you gonna leave this one? You want me to take it?
Doug's
Hey,
having
welcome to the
internet
Cool
issues.
Fireman Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. This might be episode 89, but who's counting? All right, we are on our way
It
to.
could be a shit show because my internet is wonky.
We're
Oh,
gonna do what we're
it's
gonna do.
100% going to be a shit show. What's one of our shows is not a shit show. It's okay, but it's brought to you by Unkie's Seasoning. Okay, please go out and get yourself some Unkie Seasoning. UnkieSeasonings.com. The man, the myth, the legend, right in the top middle part of your screen. If you're on Spotify or YouTube, that's where he is. That's the man that owns Unkie Seasoning. What?
I've got.
You're in the top middle on this, but not on the actual video, Doug.
Doug,
Shit.
Doug, you're in the bottom left. Okay, I'm on top of you. Okay. Hey, just a reminder, if you are on Spotify or YouTube, you would have just seen Doug wink at me. Okay, you would have seen it. But if you're not, that's okay. And you're on Apple Podcasts, that's okay, because they deserve people on their podcast platform just like Spotify. Anyways, yes, and Burnbox. We love Burnbox. And when is the next Burnbox coming? It should be here, I don't know, pretty soon. We're super stoked about it.
Yeah, it's about 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah. We got the FD Collectors Club. It came with 2 patches and 2 coins. I can't do it because it's just going to blur it out. Oh, there we go. There's 42s from the stable, Milton Fire Rescue, and the other one's Honolulu. Dude, how rad is that? Freaking dragon.
That dragon Honolulu is pretty slick.
And then each of them come with a
That thing is
coin.
sick.
Dude, I freaking love the stables one, dude. So awesome.
I do too.
Hell yeah.
Their
coin is
cool.
really
That's
sweet,
a really
man.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
all of them are sweet.
So if you are an avid listener of ours, one way you can help us, get on and tell Tom how badass his Burnbox collection series is, and the FD Collectors Club as well. Get on, get your Unkies, get your Burnbox. Hello. And then, so Brian came up with the topic today, and he's going to explain it because he's told me 3 times and I already forgot.
Way to be there, Matt. What was your word? Study. Way to be there. Train wreck. Speaking of train wrecks, no, seriously.
Focus.
Oh,
Focus.
damn. Too soon.
Yes.
Too
Yeah,
soon.
too soon. Too
Delray
soon.
Beach.
But seriously, on a very serious note, it is before we get into the topic, we do want to do a moment of silence for anybody that we may have lost this week. And so we're not going to name any specifics, but just if there is any firefighter that may have died in the line of duty before we get into our topic, let's take just a few moments and honor them. Amen.
Well said.
All right.
Well said.
Well said. Okay, so real quickly, the reason why I said train wreck was because I'm sure you've seen all over social media. Golly, tongue twisters today are bad.
Easy
We
for
got
you.
a train wreck. Dude, you're like, what's not Sylvester, but
The Wascally
Foghorn
Wabbit.
Leghorn.
The Wascody Wabbit. I'm
yeah,
struggling
Elmer,
on these.
You're
last
like
two
Elmer
episodes.
Fudd tonight, dude.
I am. I'm struggling.
So,
Hey,
wreck.
I want to interject that this mustache is all natural. This is no product.
Hey, look at mine's coming back in.
Can
I'm proud
we
of you.
focus?
No, I'm
Focus.
proud of Matt. I am proud of your mustache.
No, because that was last year's word.
Okay. But we stay with it. We don't let it die. Okay. So again, with the concept of just situational awareness, that's what I wanted to talk about while responding. I know that we are so distracted now than what I was in the cabin 2025 compared to 2002 in the late 90s when I joined the fire department. There's definitely way more knobs and way more electronics. In fact, I did the first ride along in an electric fire truck the week before last. Kind of wild. But just thinking about what's out there, and not to mention how distracted other people are, other drivers, right? So you may have seen in the news there was an incident involving a fire truck and a train. Here locally, there was an incident involving a fire engine and a bicyclist, and where the bicyclist was struck and ultimately ended up dying, and the driver of the engine was charged. And so what I really wanted to chime in, and this has been about 2 weeks in the making, is I said, I really want us to chime in, and our call to action to be is, how has things of distraction changed in the apparatus, whether that's the technology that's supposed to help us, as well as just situational awareness from those around us, right? Like, we got into a very heated discussion about pre-incident plans, and I didn't bring it up, but 20 years ago, they were talking about taking that MDT and put it in the back for the firefighter. And I thought that was kind of innovative, because it was one of those things of where it said the captain, it's like, hey, how many times have you ever heard the captain say, clear right? Well, now if they're checking CAD notes, they can't do that because they're too busy trying to read CAD notes. And look, I'm not riding a truck anymore, but I do want to know from the people, and this, the beauty of this podcast is we have people that ride the back and that are up in the front. You tell me what you think. But the reality of it is the people that are around us that are not in the truck are the ones we have to be worried about. So let's talk about it.
I want to
go.
Doug, you chime in on this one first, because I think you might have a different opinion than I do just by the look of your face on after he started talking. Speak.
What?
Dead
What are you
air.
talking about?
Okay, never mind. No.
Opinion on what? On
What he just said. He just had
he said a lot of things.
I said, what do you think? Should we?
Do you think that the MVC should be in the back seat?
So we had one of our ladder trucks at one point had one in the back. You couldn't really reach it from the back jump seat, but you could see it. I don't know, man. Part of that MDC is not only directions, it's also pre-planning, it's water supply. It's if my rookie was riding jump seat last night, of course he was, because that's all he could ride. But on the way to we got dispatched to a structural assignment, and on the way there, we were going to be the third or fourth due engine. So on the way there, I'm in no hurry. We're going to be, we're going to be not late, but we're going to be, third or fourth in. So I'm talking to him about, hey man, here's what to expect. And if I was third in, we do this. If I was fourth in, blah, blah, blah. If we're second in, I said, look, man, one of the things that I would do is as the third or fourth due engine is I'm going to find a secondary water source, because if this thing gets out of hand and we have to flow the truck, one hydrant's probably not going to do it. No. That's not something, again, with rookies, if it's in the back, if you're a 3-man unit, that rookie can't run that MDC. He doesn't know anything about it. So while I see the benefit to it, I do see what Brian said about the officer. It gives you 4 eyes in the front for safety because of the, like you said, the Delray incident. But I don't think that it needs to be back there.
Can I interject real quick?
In every situation. Yes, please take over, Freddy.
I'm not trying to step on Matt either, but the 4 eyes in the front, it works. It still works, because what are we doing at red lights, at green lights, at stop signs, at yield signs, at any kind of intersection? We are at least slowing down. We are at least
when I'm in the right seat, regardless of what I'm doing on the computer, if I feel the unit slowing down, I'm looking.
100%.
It's just second nature.
And Brian, this isn't coming at you, but we just had an incident the other day. We were short. Okay. We were short staffed. The chief, because everybody's been humping it on overtime. People have been getting mandoed. People are getting burnt out. So the chief decided, if nobody was going to pick up the overtime, that we were going to drop our squad, which is like our mini pumper that goes with everything, to 1 person. We were going to run 9 for the day.
Oh.
I wasn't happy about it, but you can't drive to somebody's house and drag them into the freaking station. Everybody's got, it was on Christmas Eve, I think it was. No, maybe it wasn't. Whatever, day after Christmas. But we had a fire at the high school. What had happened was there was the copier had caught on fire in the room. So there was smoke.
This is on a day when there's 1 person on that unit.
On the like F550 with the chassis, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, cabin chassis. Yeah. Yeah.
It's got like 500 gallons of water, if that. Maybe it's 420, whatever.
It's a glorified brush truck, yeah.
It is. It's really what it is.
What do your engines carry for water?
750.
Oh, we have 500.
We're 750 also.
So
740.
And this is clear on the other side of town. This is in Station 2's district, on the westernmost part of our city is where the high school is. So the lieutenant, who was the officer in charge for the day, the battalion chief was off for Christmas or whatever, had to drive himself across town in the squad responding to the call. So in that 3 minutes that took him to drive across town, he had to clear his own intersections. He had to make sure he wasn't going to schmuck anybody, right? So what did he not get to do? He wasn't able to possibly call for any mutual aid based on the fact that it's a huge building.
He wasn't able to gain any intel
He
whatsoever.
wasn't able to pull up the floor map of all the rooms, of all of the hazards, the target hazards and everything for that. He wasn't able to start wrapping his mind around being the OIC. He was a driver for 3 minutes on the way to that scene. Now, Engine 2 gets on scene. They make entry. They find it. It's a printer on fire. They hit it with a water can. It puts it out. However, had that been a more serious issue, we would have been 3 minutes behind the 8 ball of getting mutual aid companies striking a box, striking whatever we got to do. It was a full response for the city, but
this is a staffing thing more than anything. But
it ties. But where I'm trying to tie it in is with the distraction. That officer is now distracted driving to the scene and trying to be both, if you will. He's trying to get this apparatus to the scene while also knowing that he has that immense pressure on him to, when he pulls up and takes over command, there's already people that are going to be ready to go for assignments and stuff like that. So The distractions, we have to cut them down, and staffing is a part of it. But the one thing that really triggered me to bring it up was we have to slow down at intersections, and when you feel that slowdown, yeah, we're clear, and you're still going, you're looking, you're doing all your things, putting it in the back. The guy in the back, the jump seat, he's got other things he's thinking about, right? I got my gloves. When I get out, am I pulling a line? Am I grabbing the can? What tool am I getting? This, that, the other thing. The last thing you want to do is prevent him from being fully geared up and ready to jump out and pull a hose, because the captain in the front or the boss in the front is like, hey, where's the nearest hydrant? Oh, hold on a second. All right. Hey, where's the air conditioning unit? Where's the gas line? Where's the electrical?
So, Freddie, here's what I want to chime in with.
Yeah.
And again, I know none of that stuff was directed at me, and I'm not taking it that way, and so I don't want you or anybody else who's listening to take it this way.
But
my only argument, or I'm going to say comma, both of the incidents, I believe, had people in the right seat, and those incidents still occurred.
They absolutely
so it was not right, and these are recent incidences, and I guarantee if we search the internet, we would find where these are happening on a regular basis. So my comment is, what are we distracted? Yeah, thanks. He helped me out. So what are we distracted by, and what are we doing to improve it? Because the days of us just being situationally aware at the intersections is not enough, because the frequency of these events are increasing. So I wholeheartedly agree everything what you're saying. Yeah. I think the reason why I mentioned about the MDTs in the back was because the visibility in the back, you can't help that. I mean, you can help in the back, but you obviously have much better visibility in that right front seat for the driver than you do in the back. Now, are those learned things? The mentorship that Doug talked about is also about mentoring them earlier on and helping them pull up the pre-plan, things like that. All those things are things that can be taught, right? But you can't teach relocating your eyes to the front of the cab to being 100% situationally aware at all times. Because if you wait to read an intersection, it can be sometimes too late because of things that are obstructing it. So you almost have to be, in my mind, which you can't 100% of the time, because you're getting geared up yourself as that company officer, right? You're getting your stuff on. Like, in other words, you're strapping things in, you're looking for your gloves, you're getting your hood, you're leaning back saying, hey, do you have all your stuff on? Like, I mean, it's been a minute, but I do remember what goes on inside the cab of a truck. So there is a little bit of situational awareness and a whole group accountability that has to happen inside of that truck. So again, I'm just saying, what can we do as a whole crew to help that person that's driving to not necessarily be in that situation, I guess, more than anything. I think the two different variables in those two differences I gave was there was one person who was also at fault, the person that came out into the path of the vehicle, and the other instance of where the train could not stop, right? Like, it is where it is, right? Like it can't not stop, right, for the fire truck. So anyways, that's just something, Matt, he's dying to chime in, so let him.
Is it getting worse? Isn't the number 2 way that firefighters die is accidents at intersections? So that's been like that for a long time. So I don't really necessarily think it's getting any worse. I think that, there's a lot of variables that go into this. And there's the reason that the statistics are so bad is because, I don't know how you guys feel about this, Doug. I know you sit up front right, and I don't know who else drives, but it's amazing to me. Is PSA alert. A lot of the guys that are listening to this, and yes, we do have a lot of males that listen to this, and that are firefighters, but anybody that's not, and you have fire emergency, engine or truck behind you, pull to the right. don't. It's unbelievable how many times you guys go, and anybody that's fucking listening to this podcast right now, as a fireman, can relate to this. We're driving and we got our woo-woos on, and all of a sudden they just stop. Or they pull to the left. And it's like, at what point in your gosh darn life did you learn to go left? What time in your gosh darn life? At which DMV? I want to know. Look at Doug's about to. He's boiling, and the pot is starting to whistle. It's unbelievable to me. So there's human error, there's driver error, there's people that drive out there without due regard. It just happens. Like it's a human thing. It's a human thing. And I'm not saying that it's excusable. I'm not saying that there's any excuse for it at all. But no, that's another reason to know you're first in. More experienced drivers are going to know which stop signs that they don't have to slow down to, a damn complete stop at, and they can kind of blow through. But I'll use the word due regard. Nobody's said it yet. We're 20 minutes into the podcast, and it's a thing. And everybody else is thinking the same thing. And this is so stupid and cliche to say at this point, because a bunch of firemen listen to this podcast is oh my gosh, it just totally fleeted right out of my head.
It's not
if you're going code 3 to a call to an emergency and you get in an accident, guess what? You just became an emergency. And now you don't get to go to that. Now someone has to respond to you, and now someone has to respond to your original call. So now you got like triple the amount of resources that you need just for one damn call, and you probably fucking hurt somebody. So
whoa.
Yeah, and when you go to court, they're going to bring these people that went to traffic school, as in the people that said, this is the reason why it's 35 miles per hour on this road for a reason, and you were going above that.
Yeah.
Lights or not.
Yeah, we're allowed
Those
to go
people are
10 miles
against you.
We're allowed to go 10 miles per hour over the posted speed limit while going code 3. And if we're opposing, I think it's a maximum of 20 miles an hour. It doesn't matter, what the posted speed limit is.
We have a caveat.
We're
allowed 10 over under perfect conditions, ideal conditions.
Correct.
Sunny, dry
That's
pavement.
Stupid. How subjective is that? You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. It's very subjective. Yeah. However, that's what's in our procedure.
Actually, I like that, because your lawyer that's representing you can say it was this, that, and the other. However, it benefits you, and then you're fine.
I have driven for many an officer who says drive to your comfort level.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the last thing you want to do. I mean, obviously, what spurred this conversation.
We don't make up time on the road. It'll always be that way. We don't make up time on the road. We make up time getting out of the chute.
How many departments have traffic preemption devices on their trucks? Anybody know what that is?
Yep.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
so Doug's got
talking. Nope. You're talking about the
changes the lights.
Yeah,
they're either Tomar lights or GPS.
Whether they work or not, I don't know. Sometimes some of our lights they work, sometimes they don't. But
our city won't.
All of our units have Opticon.
They're going now to GPS because of the lights and the flashes. The patterns aren't always linked up. The sensors are So now they're going to where they're GPS based on the trucks. And so as those little pucks move, and because of the cost, so like Matt was saying, they're like, they don't want to pay for it. They're putting the one device on the traffic signal box. And so no matter which way the apparatus is coming from any direction, as soon as that happens, it senses the path of travel and changes it. So it's technology to your advantage. And that's kind of what I wanted to reiterate back. Like, what are we doing to help save some of that, like some of those costs, right? So if you're at a crosswalk and you've got your, beats on, your noise canceling beats, and you think that you have the right of way as the pedestrian, and you can't, even in the right seat, you can't see that person that's walking into the crosswalk, and you do slow down, at least it stops the crosswalk, right? Like, it's like, nope, let's stop. That's, to me, I go back to what you said, Matt. I think it's where technology is somewhat helping us, but we still have people being people, right? Like, we're still people being people, and that's the problem. That's why we're firefighters. Helping,
but it's also hurting in a lot of aspects. And the biggest one I see, and it drives me fucking bananas, is goddamn automatic headlights. We have become so reliant on technology to turn them on for us. Well, it doesn't sense when it's foggy and rainy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it drives me fucking bananas. So while it's a great help, it's also a great hindrance in a lot of aspects because we're too reliant on it.
Yeah. Adam, how about you? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, the MDTs, we don't have them, so I have no idea what y'all talking about. I just know it's on a computer laptop up front. We don't have them. But I just want to hit some points on some safety equipment. Something that kind of irks me. a little bit that we have problems sometimes in my department. One, your headsets are going to help you if your truck has headsets. This past year, my truck, it went out to the shop with headsets and came back. We took them off. Nobody knows where they're at. When that federal queue hits up, you cannot even hear your own thoughts.
No.
Where it sits on our bumper, and it's just I put my fingers in my ear right backwards, and I have earplugs. So if somebody's trying to talk to me, I don't hear them because the safety equipment is not there anymore. But if you have them, wear them. At another base of mine that is near us, they have them. They never use them. So
That's
it's the opposite.
ridiculous.
They're trying to talk to me. I got my headsets on.
I mean, just the noise of the engine cowling in the middle.
yes.
I mean, you can't even you can't even talk. I mean, we'd be yelling. Like, what is it? Like,
We can have a nice conversation.
Much less when the queue is pinned.
Oh man,
dude, I love the headphones.
So if you have headsets,
Yeah,
wear
I love
them
them.
for your
Or a
safety.
headset, whatever.
The other thing is, I'll go through, seat belts. Of course, get what you got to get on and put your seatbelt on as immediately as possible because a lot of trucks, they may not or may not work. The computers says who's wearing their seatbelt.
Mm-hmm.
And don't think that some chief set up there, some bean counter is going to go, all right, we're going to cover this guy and that guy, but not that guy because he should have had a seatbelt on. When he got injured is because he didn't have a seatbelt on. Just always got to worry about that bean counter. This comes down to the next two items. My father, his engine company, wrecked in the early 2000s. I sat there and listened to it on the radio. I worked for the city at the time, and he was with the federal government. They got ran off the road by a school bus. School bus called it in and left them in the middle of nowhere. It was my dad's third or fourth shift there, and he was going around that morning, going to all the compartments on the side, learning the new truck, and he realized none of the axles, they're all just stacked on top of each other, and nothing's hanging up. He looked inside the cab. He saw that the driver's air pack was mounted dead center in the back of the cab, but it was the wrong harness. He's like, that harness is too big. It's for the big bottles, not the small bottles that we have. My dad's just making a list. We need to get all this stuff to just secure items. We'll get it this morning on their way to training. They were going to another base. Well, that's when they had that accident. So it comes down to close your compartments. I have that issue in my station. These next two items, close the compartments because DOT says everything's supposed to be secured because everything can be turned into a missile.
Yeah.
So close your compartment doors and secure items. We have a guy that just loves to lean his pike pole, that is his personal one or whatever, in the cab. Yeah.
No.
And they have loose tools. I'm like, secure them.
No.
That's the same with the helmet. To be 100%,
I throw it in there with the
What?
the suction hose, hard suction hose. I throw it in with all the rest of the tools. He gets mad. I was like, it's not secured, bud. Get some equipment to secure it. Because when they wrecked, the hose bed dumped and everything, they hit a big tree. That air pack was going to come right for the driver or my dad. He's the officer at the time. It was hanging on by one strap when they hit that tree. Everything else was thrown from the truck. So you just got to secure things. So they were just lucky that the straps got snagged and that SCBA ball didn't come forwards to hit everybody. But have your items secure, close your compartments, wear your seatbelt, and if you got a headset, put your headset on.
Yeah.
I mean, just come on. We got to be safe. We must be the example.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, if you drive like a crazy asshole, then expect to pay the consequences at some point because it's probably not if, it's when.
Yeah.
We have a Pierce that has terrible seatbelt sensors, so I don't know if that kind of kicks your logic out of there, Unk. But
as long as you're wearing them,
those suckers go off all the fucking time. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
People probably relate to that.
Too.
Anyways,
Well, Matt, let me just say this. If you're all wearing your seatbelt and it rolls, you have a lot higher chance of saying, hey, we were all wearing them.
Yeah.
If you don't, you won't make it. So
wear your gosh darn seatbelt. Abide by the rules. What Doug said, you're not making up time on the road. So anyways, we're at 30 minutes, boys and girls.
Yeah. It's good conversation, right?
Really
Nobody
good.
wants to end up in that situation.
No. No.
Call to action is let's continue
Look
the
at my
conversation in the comments.
Yes.
Oh, damn.
Let us know what your department does to keep each other safe in the cab and risk-free from those types of incidents. What are you doing? And what do you think?
Adam,
What
you
do you
want to
think
send
is
it?
some ways that you can do? Send it, Adam.
Send it.
La, 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 la. Roll it, Gigi.
Roll it, Gigi.
Before you leave, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and give these firemen a huge thumbs up. Also, make sure you check out thecoolfireman.com for more. Thanks!